In 1542, the expeditions of De Soto passed through the land. In 1682, La Salle named the state Louisiana in honor of King Louis XIV of France. In 1718, when the governor of French Louisiana, Jean-Baptiste La Monnaie, founded the city of Nouvelle-Orleans, which was named after the Duke of Orleans, France's ruling regent at the time. In 1762 and 1763, France signed treaties ceding Louisiana to Spain. For 40 years, New Orleans was a Spanish city. In 1803, Louisiana reverted it to the French, who sold it to the United States 20 days later in Louisiana Purchase.
The War of 1812 culminated into the Battle of New Orleans 3 years after the war began. In January 1815, American forces came together to defend New Orleans against the British. Ultimately, America defeated the British at Calumet Battlefield. And during the first half of the 19th century, New Orleans became the United States' wealthiest and third largest city. And in 1853, New Orleans suffers from the yellow fever, which approximately killed 9,000 people. In 1896, the U.S. Supreme Court delivered the Plessy versus Ferguson decision affirming the Louisiana state law that mandates segregation. By 1900, the city's streetcars were electrified, and New Orleans jazz was born into its clubs and dance halls. After World War II, suburbanization and conflicts over school integration drew many white residents out of the city. But despite these social changes, the city grew as a tourist attraction, with hundreds and thousands of annual visitors drawn to its Mardi Gras festivities.
Today, New Orleans is one of the United States' largest cities located in Louisiana.
People and culture of New Orleans have made the city very distinct from any other.
People of New Orleans are mainly a variety of ethnicities, which include Europeans, mainly French, Latin Americans, Native Americans, and African Americans. Mardi Gras celebration originated from the French in the Middle Ages. It was celebrated as a major holiday in France. They christened the site Pointe du Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras predated the French ancient tribal rituals of fertility that welcomed the spring season. A possible ancestor of the celebration was the circus-like orgy Lupercalia that was held in Rome in mid-February. In the 1900s, what we know Mardi Gras as today began. During the Mardi Gras celebration, you will see people dressed up in costumes and masks. You will see floats and horses and lots of purple, gold, and green, and a lot of beads. The main colors of this celebration are purple, gold, and green. Purple for justice, gold for power, and green for faith. These three colors were used by the Catholic Church throughout history, and Mardi Gras continued to use them because it originated through the Catholic Church. The only asked question when people go to this celebration is why do women bare their breasts and what do the beads represent? If you get beads thrown at you, you are supposed to bare your breasts, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Also, if someone requests for you to get beads thrown at you, they can be arrested. This year's Mardi Gras was on Tuesday, February 9th, and Mardi Gras is always celebrated the day before Ash Wednesday.
The distinctive culture of New Orleans is a blend of French, Spanish, Vietnamese, Canary Island, Caribbean, German, Irish, and American Dixie. There is no other city in North America that has such a blend of nationalities. It is a Catholic city and has affinities with Boston, Chicago, and Miami. The historic mix of people is peculiar. The local accent, yat, is very similar to the Brooklyn accent. Distinctive local accent is unlike either Creole or stereotypical Southern accent, so often misportrayed by film and television actors. The many different ways you can pronounce New Orleans are New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans, or New Orleans. The dominant language is American English. French is rarely used. The expressions and pronunciation have influenced various dialects in New Orleans. Significant use is at the start of the 20th century. Another distinctive quality about New Orleans is their music, which is a very big part of their culture. It is especially known for its strong association with jazz music, universally considered to be the birthplace of the genre. Earliest form was Dixieland or traditional jazz. Other music that plays a role with the culture is rhythm and blues, brass band, ragtime, Dixieland, traditional jazz, Cajun music, Sedecto, gypsy jazz, and bounce.
New Orleans is world famous for its food. The cuisines are distinctive and very influential. The food is combined with many nationalities, including French, Spanish, Italian, African, Native American, and a hint of Cuban food. Jambalaya is made of sausages, vegetables, and a variety of meat and/or seafood, with a final touch of a raw, long grain of rice to observe the flavors. Tandoori is a sausage that is seasoned with salt, black pepper, and garlic that is smoked over pecan wood and sugar canes for up to 8 hours. This can be found in jambalaya and po' boy, with a side of red beans and rice. Shrimp creole is a fresh peeled shrimp with chopped onions, green peppers, green onions, and chopped tomatoes. Bread pudding is soaked in milk, eggs, sugar. The bread is then baked and then topped with a sweet, typical bourbon-based sauce.